Very happy to be here today. Today I represent Year Up. Year Up, we are a national nonprofit organization that specializes in training opportunity youth ages 18 to 24 and training them for entry-level and middle-skill positions in industries such as cybersecurity, information technology, as well as business and project management. The organization has been in existence for the last 18 years. We were started in the year 2000 by our founder, Gerald Chartavian, who started Year Up because he was a mentor for the Big Brother and Big Sisters program. And through that work that he was doing, he realized that many of his mentees and young adults that he was working with needed additional support outside of a mentor. Many of the folks that he worked with came from broken homes, a lower socioeconomic background, and they needed much more than pathways to a college education. They needed employment opportunities once they completed college. So he got in touch with many of the investors that he was working with on Wall Street and started Year Up. Over the last 18 years, the organization has grown from a professional staff of 50 to a professional staff of over 500. We have 21 locations throughout the country. Here in the National Capital Region, we started our presence within this market in Arlington, Virginia, right across the street from the Crystal City Metro Station. Our core site that's located on South Bell Street serves about 120 youth every 6 months. What brings me here and why I'm excited is that through our partnership with Northern Virginia Community College, we are offering college credit at the Woodbridge campus of Northern Virginia Community College, in addition to professional skills training. And so when we say professional skills, what exactly does that mean? Many of the opportunity youth that we work with don't have any experience working in a corporate setting like this. And so how we all are dressed in a business professional attire, part of their training is that they come to campus or they come to work dressed in business professional attire. They learn how to present. They learn how to send professional emails. They learn about the ins and outs of a firm handshake. What does that mean to present yourself and present your brand? In order to get them up to speed and ready for a transition into a professional career. Our program is quite unique, where we combine higher education and workforce training. Traditionally, when you think about workforce training, you think about a 3 to maybe 18 months program that may be an apprenticeship to get on-the-job training, and then you go out into the workforce. Because of the vacancies in areas such as cybersecurity and IT in the Northern Virginia area, our students are gaining 30 credit hours towards a cybersecurity or information technology degree at Northern Virginia Community College that we pay for. In addition, they receive a 6 months paid internship with a Fortune 1000 company. And so an example of this would be we have students who are interning at Capital One doing help desk support. We have students that are interning for Symantec, working in a network operating center. We have students that are doing network administration for Navy Federal Credit Union. And so the program in itself is comprised of 2 parts. The first 6 months of our 1-year program is what we consider learning and development. So you're going to get your technical skills training, you're going to get your professional skills training, you're going to earn credit towards your associate's degree. The second 6 months of the program is what you would typically consider an apprenticeship, but in the phase of a paid internship, where students are getting live experience in a real world environment. At the end of this 1-year process, our students then are trained, and over 55% of those students are then converted into a full-time employment opportunity with one of our corporate partners. As I mentioned before, we are a nonprofit organization, and so we're funded through the partnerships that we've developed with over 50 companies throughout the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. For me, what really attracted me to Year Up was the simple fact that I've served as director of admissions at several institutions here in the state of Virginia. I've ran college campuses. in a regional capacity and satellite campuses before. And the program really does a phenomenal job of applying theory that students will learn in the classroom to practice as far as the skills that you and your companies need in a professional setting. And so I'm going to have you watch a brief video to just kind of give you a Eagles point of view of what our program is about. And then I'll kind of go into some of the logistics and hopefully how we can help you and how you can also help us. We do bring in a cohort of 80 students every 6 months here at the Woodbridge campus of Northern Virginia Community College. Whereas we usually work according to the NOVA calendar system. We enrolled our largest class of 80 in August. We are also currently recruiting for a new cohort of students that will begin in February. So I'm going to have you watch a brief video. I want to make this as informal as possible so that I'm not doing all of the talking, but I think the video that I'm going to show right now will give you a good perspective for those of you who are not familiar with the program. I'm happy to hear that someone from Future Kings is here. We do a lot of work with Future Kings and working with our young adults on the eastern side of the county that are interested in computer design, computer graphics and design, web development, computer science, etc. So. Lights, please. Thank you. Thank you. So, as you all can see, the opportunity divide exists Here in the Northern Virginia area, we are trying to gain access to over 300,000 young adults throughout the DC market for many of the vacancies that you all know currently exist in middle skill and entry level positions. That 5 million number that you saw in the video as it relates to nationwide and the 12 million vacancies that currently exist, those vacancies are at Capital One, those vacancies are at Deloitte, those vacancies are at Accenture, those vacancies may also be at many of your companies as well. The benefit for a young adult coming to our program is that we help subsidize the cost of their college education. 30 credit hours that we pay for. We do utilize some subsidies, especially for those students that are Pell eligible. We require all of our students to go through the financial aid process. Students to qualify for our program, you have to have graduated from high school or have a GED. You have to have a legal right to work in the U.S. We run our students through a battery of assessments as well as a panel interview. Students that may have criminal records that doesn't exempt them, that doesn't exclude them from our process. Students that may have a history of drug use that doesn't exclude students from our process as well. For the most part, the program is really based around this concept of having high expectations that our young adults will perform, but we also have high support. And so there's student services components within our program. Each student that comes through our program has a coach where they meet with this coach once a week to go through whether it's some academic challenges, personal challenges, how to prepare themselves for internship, and then once they go on to internship, making sure that they have the conflict resolution skills and abilities to manage up if required and to collaborate with small teams. I really enjoy the fact that you have students that are currently in Prince William County. They may be working at Potomac Mills, they may be at your local McDonald's, they may be sitting on your couch at home, and they just don't have the navigational resources to understand what opportunities are out there. Like I mentioned before, I came up in college admissions. I'm all about a 4-year degree. However, that may not be the pathway or the track for all of our young adults who may need to work sooner rather than later. They may need to establish independency sooner rather than later. The students that we work with throughout Prince William County, we get students from all over the county that travel as far west as Gainesville, as far north as Maryland, that come down specifically because at the Woodbridge campus of Northern Virginia Community College, that location is the only location that has a cybersecurity track. We have been expanding. We are also opening up a new location at the Alexandria campus of Northern Virginia Community College. When you kind of think of what the experience is like for a student, all of your professional skills training, those students will receive that from Year Up staff members and professionals. All of the technical training, those students will receive that technical training from Northern Virginia Community College instructors. The investment that our corporate partners make within a student comes down to the dollar amount of about $27,000 per internship seat. The proof is that it's less expensive for an organization to pay Year Up to train a skilled and talented workforce than it is for that company or organization to go through this battery of training and onboarding process. Students that gain a full-time professional opportunity after they complete our program. I believe in the video it quoted 38,000. That's the national average. Students graduating from our program here in the area, on average, they're earning about $29 an hour. When you think of that in terms of someone who is 18, 19, 20 years old, no college degree, but they've had this experience and they've been trained. Our students are receiving a wide variety of certifications as well that also makes them that much more competitive in the workforce. For example, our cybersecurity students are also receiving CCNA training, the Cisco networking certification. They're receiving Microsoft certifications. They're also receiving A+ and Security Plus certifications by way of the resources that we provide in our program. And so for me, I really think that the more students that we can train and put out into the community to be productive citizens, that helps us all. I really enjoy working with the program from the standpoint of seeing someone come into my office. They may not know how to give a firm handshake and look you in the eye when they're introducing themselves. To someone who is classified as an introvert that's being forced outside of their comfort zone to conduct presentations such as this, to go on meet and greets and meeting with business professionals just like you to see what are the growth areas that they need to master in order to be successful people in the workforce. At this time, I would like to open up the floor to any questions that you may have before I kind of give you an inside look of what it's like for the student experience once they come to our program. Yes, sir.
So how does a youth person get into the program?
Well, you start first by going to our website. I believe you all received a copy of this flyer here. On the back gives you the steps and the eligibility requirements as far as what you need to do to go through the program. You will first start by going to the website listed on the front of the flyer, yearup.org/apply. At that point, a student could let us know of their interest, and we get them into our CRM system and to start the communication process. We want to have them conduct and go through an information session, so they'll get either a face-to-face info session or an online information session based on their convenience. At that point, they can make the decision that they want to go through with our process. We have a rolling admissions deadline, and so, like I mentioned before, we're actively recruiting for our February cohort. The goal is that students have a completed application into us by the holiday break, with the anticipation of them completing their interview within the first couple of weeks of January. But it typically takes about a 3-week turnaround for students to start with the information session, go through the process, and then gain admission to our program.
So the student has to be high school graduate already?
High school graduate or GED, yes sir.
So one of the things that I kind of want to share also, we're running a specialized program within our company. We have almost 15 people going through training right now for a particular within the security realm.
Okay.
So kind of wanted to see how we have actually had a plan to reach out to future kings. That's something on my calendar. And kind of wanted to see how we can leverage this partnership. And we provide all the trainings. We invest in the people for trainings. It's a specialized track within the security. And a person can be making anywhere 100+ a day within a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal that we want.
Absolutely. I think the partnership for me really goes both ways, because not only are we looking for able participants to go through our program, but our graduates from our program, we're looking for opportunities where we can provide and expand upon the corporate relations that we do have. And so I can certainly give you my contact information. We can have an offline conversation to see what's feasible for next steps.
I just want to say I'm familiar with your program and the company I work for. We are in conversation, perhaps to start a program in mechatronics, and so that, we can have a pipeline of your students in partnership with Nova.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned $27,000. Just want to clarify, that's for 6 months full-time internship, right? Like 40 hours a week.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'll be going on a tour later on this month.
Is that right?
Pretty excited.
Well, hopefully I'll see you then. I'm excited to hear that.
Thank you.
No, I'm just more excited about resources that are available for that 18 to 24-year-old group. A lot of the times when they don't get these resources that are in secondary education, they kind of get left out in this donut hole where, again, where are these students? They're just kind of left on the side. So just knowing that there's these resources that fill in that gap to be able to help those students and being able to make them productive citizens, giving them a way to kind of feel impactful in their community as well as in their education as well. Are they also becoming Novus? Because you mentioned financial aid and so forth as part of the wraparound sources that you can
We have two models essentially. So the first model is our core site. The core site is located in Arlington, Virginia, in Crystal City. That is an independently owned, operated year-up entity. So students that attend the core site, they receive ACE credit, American Council of Education credit. They receive up to 27 credit hours. Same internship setup applies, but all of the instructional piece from the technical training are taught by year-up instructors. The professional training core model is our community college partnership model, and that's really our growth model for the organization. And so every major city that exists in America, Europe has a partnership with the local community college. And so in New York City, it's the Bureau of Manhattan Community College. In South Florida, it's Miami-Dade Community College. In the Bay Area, not only is it the community college there, but also on-site training with Facebook and Google. And so the model, in terms of our growth, it's much easier for us to gain a footprint by partnering with the local community college. They're doing workforce development training anyway, right? They're doing higher ed and degree attainment anyway. And so, so we don't have to go and recreate the wheel. And I think the beauty of our partnership with Nova Woodbridge is that we have a very good relationship with Dr. Hill, the provost, the campus provost. We have a very good relationship with their student services team. And it's simple as picking up a phone call to say, hey, I'm thinking about this. Can we try something to serve our community better? And so, for example, one of the initiatives, we've grown significantly over the last year at NVCC Woodbridge. And so we've gone from a cohort of 30 to a cohort of 40 to a cohort of 60 to a cohort of 80 in consecutive cycles. Part of that was us being more strategic. When I came to the organization, I met with Dr. Hill and I said, I don't want to compete with the programs that Nova is already offering. I don't want to compete for the college ready or college prepared crowd. And one of the suggestions that I came up with was really focusing on feeder high schools with a Title I funding of 50% or higher. So students on free and reduced lunch, working with those high schools to really establish footprints. And I'm happy to hear that you're from Manassas Park. I had a meeting with your principal about a year ago, and there was a grant that they were working on at the high school. And one of the thoughts was, I don't want the students who are in the top 25% of the high school graduating class, frankly. They're going to be college ready. They're going to take the SATs and the ACTs. Some of those students that need a program like Europe, we're certainly available. But a lot of times I want to really work with that student population that is in the bottom 50% of that high school graduating class. Because those are the students that they may not have had the appropriate college career training prior. They may be thinking about the military. 9 times out of 10, they need a job sooner rather than later. And so that's really our focus, to ensure that we're making sure that we're servicing with wraparound services for everybody and just not one segment of the population. And so when I say that, is Europe a higher ed program? Absolutely. Is Europe more so a workforce development and training program in addition to a higher education program? Absolutely. And so I think that in order to serve the community, we've done a lot of outreach efforts working with the Prince William County Housing Authority, working with a lot of social service organizations throughout the area, because Opportunity Youth, they're not just in one particular place. They're all over our communities, and they come in a wide variety of fashions. And so to really ensure that our students are being served to the best of our ability, we're really trying to establish partnerships and precedent with people like you that have access to the community as well, because 80% of our students come to our program by way of word of mouth. We don't have a big marketing budget. When we opened in Woodbridge, there was a $10,000 marketing investment and me. Right, so that's really what it comes down to, and how we can collaborate and really just work together to serve our community best.
I'm from the Northern Virginia Community College Manassas campus. And every time I hear about Europe, I get jealous.
Dr. Kidd, that's amazing.
But
Yeah.
we just appreciate all that you guys do at the Woodbridge campus and beyond for our community. It's an amazing program.
Yeah, we've, unfortunately, there's been like preliminary discussions to grow the program in that area of the county, but I have worked with Tanae Kamara, and prior to that, Whitney, coming out to your campus to make sure we have a physical presence. The cool thing about the program at the Woodbridge campus, we get students from all of the NOVA campuses across the region, just because they want the training, they want the experience, and they want the career. And so, they have an able-minded body, and they're willing to travel as well. And so, yeah.
How do you get them there?
Most students have some means of transportation. Unfortunately, here in Prince William, where the public transportation system is a pain. It's very difficult. Very difficult, especially when you're going southbound.
Right.
So a lot of the challenges that we have, especially working with students and along the Route 1 corridor in Fairfax County, is that they can only take the connector or the metro, say to Lorton Metro Station, and then they have to get creative to make it across the Woodbridge line to campus. Many of our students that live, say, in the far west or the northern part, the northwest part of the area, such as Loudoun County, they carpool. And so the goal is to establish a community. So within our learning community, it's not only a support system from a staff perspective, our students also support one another. And they go through the program as a cohort. They establish bonds and friendships. And so transportation is one of the pain points that we have as an organization. We do have some travel stipends that are available, especially when students get to the internship phase of the program. But we've had to turn down. A lot of students said that the program wasn't for them because they didn't have transportation in order. My hope is that with us opening up a site at the Alexandria campus, especially for the folks north of Prince William County, that may be a bit more centralized for them to gain access to. But if the omnibus could do a couple of more stops, that would really help us out a lot.
I don't know if for those audiences relevant to provide the online education. My institution, VIU, provides the online programs. Non-credit, we can talk offline.
Okay.
We can have. We are non-profit developing Fairfax.
Absolutely. Our students, as you saw in the video, 90% of our students, they go on to complete their degree. So, it just doesn't stop with the associate's degree at Nova. A lot of our students, as one gentleman that graduated this past July, is 19 years old, got a contract and a job offer with Symantec in the cyber profession, making $90,000 a year, and part of his fringe is that they're going to pay for him to get his bachelor's degree. And so the education just doesn't stop with their exit from Nova. It continues. We have students that they transfer to George Mason, they transfer to GW. A lot of, especially our cyber students, because the degree is packaged well and transferable. And so, the four-year aspirations of our students very much so exist. And so, this
There's another video?
is one more video I want to show you because it gives you kind of the idea. It's not for the program is a great program. It's not for the faint of heart. There's no shortcuts, but the video I'm going to show you now is from our Providence location, and they just graduated their 1,000th graduate this past summer, and this video was produced by Europe students.
So you want to be part of Class 25. You'll have to be fully committed. It's not going to be easy. There's no halfway to this. Are you willing to put the work in?
You can probably guess what happens here. I said yes. We all did. rules. Don't be late, go all out, stay hungry. Easy enough. 2 weeks in, first presentation. I could use a little more practice. And where? I'll kill it next time. We built a computer today. Who knew I could do that? Now, my mentor does. Pop quiz. Nothing like being prepared. Plus, Eric's my study partner. Got an A. Next time, A+. Group projects begin. With extra shifts at work, gotta find the time. But if there's a will, you know the rest. Good news. Presentation day, killed it. Studying, final exams. And just like that, classes are finished. I'm out. Internships begin. Where you off to?
U.S. Trust, Bank of America.
Citizens Bank.
Ocean State Job Lot. CVS Home. Neighborhood Health Plan. And you?
Lifespan. Oh shoot, gotta go.
As an intern here, your success will depend on the work you put in.
Let's do this. Responsibilities increasing. The work doesn't stop. The life of a young professional. One-on-one with my supervisor. He's dependent on me, so I'm putting in work. Extra hours to stay ahead. Joe from Year Up suggested tweets on my resume. Wait, what? Apply to 50 places? Alright, I'm on it. Internship, second job, home at midnight. Head down, but not for long. Get up, coffee. Intern, eat, work. Work. The next day, do it again. Suit and tie is on. So is my game face. Mock interviews at Year Up. Practice makes perfect. Showtime. Internship done. Graduation. You've heard the saying worth the wait, but rather than waiting, I went to work. 735 hours of classes. 1,040 hours of interning with one of Year Up's corporate partners. That's 1,775 hours of putting in the work. So, was it all working? I'll let you be the judge of that. As for me, I had to get to work. First day at my new job. Can't be late.